What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, I want to dive into two of the latest mock drafts that were just dropped from ESPN and PFF, and both of those mock drafts had the New York Jets selecting a quarterback with the number one overall pick. So we'll dive into it. Doesn't make sense for this franchise to draft a quarterback. I'll give you guys my full thoughts on today's show. But before we do so, I want to hear from you guys. Should the Jets draft a quarterback next season? Give me a D for draft or give me a P for pass. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I got mixed feelings about this, and I'll give you guys my full thoughts here in a second. But it was ESPN we'll dive into here first. They had the Jets taking Fernando Mendoza, number one overall, the Indiana quarterback. He just transferred in, and in my opinion, he is playing some of the best ball in the country at the quarterback position. Just had a fantastic game against the Oregon Ducks on the road, beating a top 5 opponent. He's got some swagger. He's got some moxie to him. So I am a big fan of his game. And listen, a lot can change throughout the rest of the college football season and once you go through the draft process. But he is really the only quarterback that I would consider taking with the number one overall pick. Now, I've also said I don't believe any of these quarterbacks are worth the number one overall pick. But obviously you have the quarterback tax in the NFL draft where even though these guys should be maybe slated in at like 15 to 25, just to get that quarterback bump where they end up being top 5 picks. So he is truly the only person that I would take at the number one overall selection, but this is what Jordan Reed had to say of ESPN on the Jets taking Mendoza, saying the Jets are 0-6, and their offense is among the NFL's worst. It's the worst. Justin Fields hasn't worked out to this point, and New York needs more than just a franchise quarterback. It needs a jolt of optimism. Mendoza is a decisive pocket passer who has impressed this season after transferring to Indiana from Cal, throwing 17 touchdown passes to 2 interceptions with a QBR of 84.2. That ranks 7th in the FBS. His ability to throw precise, on-time passes suits a Jets offense that is predicated on timing and accuracy. And, there's no doubt in my mind that, Mendoza is the best quarterback in the country. He's got great feel in the pocket. He's an incredibly accurate quarterback. Now, does he have a massively, live arm where, he could touch every blade on the football field or every blade of grass on the football field? No, not necessarily, but I like the way he attacks the field from the pocket. He also has some sneaky playmaker ability, can play some backyard football, and, I am starting to become more open to the Jets drafting a quarterback in the first round because, obviously this team has a ton of holes. You need a second corner, you need a second wide receiver, you need more help in the secondary, you may even need more help, depending on what happens at the NFL trade deadline, even if they decide to trade, maybe it's a Quincy Williams or something. You could use some more help at the linebacker position. But I'm also way more open to the Jets drafting a quarterback than I was a couple of months ago. And for this reason, Justin Fields is the biggest problem with the New York Jets. We can just call it like it is. The quarterback position is the most important position in all of sports, not just let alone the National Football League. And you have been getting some of the worst quarterback play in the entire NFL out of Justin Fields. And you also just flatly can't start Fields this next season. You can ride him out for the rest of the year. This year's just necessarily a throwaway, but you can't legitimately look Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, these blue chippers on your roster in the eyes and saying, yeah, last year it was a disaster. We had the worst offense in the National Football League. We're going to run it back with that same quarterback. You cannot do that. No matter what, even if it's through the draft or a trade or free agency, you cannot run back Justin Fields as your starting quarterback, or else these players on the roster are just going to check out if they are not already checked out already. And Mendoza is having a great year. I am a massive fan of his game. Already throwing for 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, has a ridiculous completion percentage of 71.2, and he has really gave, that Indiana offense a jolt of energy. And that's also something I like Jordan Reed saying at the end of his quote that we talked about, is saying that jolt of optimism, because a lot of these guys, you already know what Fields is. He's a proven commodity at this point. He's not going to get any better. He's not going to get any worse. Honestly, actually, I take that back. He has regressed from what he's been over the last couple of seasons, but there's a lot of moxie with Mendoza. He kind of has this polarizing personality where he can really see his teammates gravitate towards him. I like the way he commands a huddle. I like the way he commands a locker room, and he has that swagger. He has that moxie that you want out of your franchise quarterback, and even though New York, a lot of pressure going to the New York Jets, I think he could live up to it because the stones he had to go on the road to Oregon and beat a top 5 team, a Dan Lanning-led team, which is one of the most physical groups in the country, that proved a lot to me, and I'm becoming more open on the Jets potentially drafting him number 1 overall. But if you guys could, hit that subscribe button today. We are less than 110 subscribers away from 10.5K, so we keep you guys posted with everything around your New York Jets, mock drafts, injury news, post-game reactions. We do the whole 9 here. So hit that subscribe button today. We just need 105 more of you guys to hit that sub button. So hit that sub button today. All right, so PFF had the Jets going a different direction at the number 1 overall selection. They had them drafting Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback Ty Simpson. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Ty Simpson. I think he's just a fine quarterback. I can't really see him getting too much top 10 buzz, but as of right now, PFF has the Jets taking him number 1 overall, and this is what they had to say, saying this isn't a quarterback, or there isn't a quarterback in the 2026 draft class who feels like a safe top 5 talent, if there ever is such a thing. However, there are a handful of players who have shown promise in flashes or small sample sizes, and Simpson leads the way. In his first year as a full-time starter, he has the highest overall passing grade among the projected first-round quarterbacks, 86.6, and the highest intermediate, 11 to 19 yards downfield passing grade at 91.1. Now, this is just maybe my take, and this could change as we go throughout the process, but from what I've seen right now, he doesn't really scream first-round talent. Now, obviously, he's throwing the Ryan Williams and a ton of great receivers over there at Alabama, so I'm always a little hesitant to take an Alabama quarterback. We have seen some guys be somewhat successful, but he's got a ton of talent around him. He's got a all-world left tackle in Proctor, so he's got a good support system. He also has a good offensive-minded head coach in DeBoer, so I don't really see him as a first-round talent, but as a day 2 selection, 110%. Like, the Jets take this guy in the second round. If you were the fall there, I think that would be a solid choice because you just need to add some more optimism to this locker room. And, even though, and this is why I kind of changed my tune on the quarterback spot for the Jets, is like, even though there are a lot of different holes on the roster and they may not be ready for a rookie quarterback, they may just have to because there are a lot of guys in the prime of their careers right now on this team, and you can't legitimately roll back Justin Fields or get another stopgap quarterback. Like, you need to give these guys some hope. And a rookie quarterback can do that. Like, we just saw that with the New York Giants. I mean, they got Jackson Dart. You're starting to see, like, Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence. These guys have that jolt of energy. That's what a rookie quarterback can do. So I think the Jets, maybe it's not the first overall pick, but for sure in the second round, I definitely could see them drafting a QB. And, Ty Simpson's put up some good numbers this year. 16 touchdowns, just 1 interception, 40 carries for actually 58 yards, which is kind of hilarious. That is not a typo. That is 100% correct, which I was a little shocked by. But he does have some decent dual threat ability, throwing for over 1,600 yards this season with a 71% completion percentage. And, I think when the offseason comes here for the New York Jets, priority number 1 is going to be improving the quarterback position because, like I've been saying, you cannot roll back Justin Fields as the starter next year. That's why that contract looks so bad. Like, I'm honestly still stunned, excuse me, that the Jets gave him $30 million guaranteed. It is that bad of a deal, but you have to almost like admit you were wrong, peel that Band-Aid off. I always go back to this comparison when the Arizona Cardinals, they took Josh Rosen with the 10th overall pick. They knew right away he wasn't the guy, and then they said, hey, we just got to go take Kyler Murray with the number 1 overall pick. Now, Kyler, has he worked out? Has he not? That's up for debate, but at least they had the self-awareness to realize, like, hey, Josh Rosen's not the guy. We got to move on. The Jets have to do the same thing with Justin Fields because they have had the worst quarterback play in the NFL this season. I think the biggest reason why the Jets are 0-6, it is because of Justin Fields. And this is more of a credit to the rest of the roster, and, compared to me bashing Fields because, the defense showed up last week. You still have, a great offensive line, a great run game, and you still have Garrett Wilson, and you still have Mason Taylor. But the main reason why the passing attack hasn't been good is because your quarterback can't throw the football. It is 2025. You cannot have a guy like Justin Fields who is pretty much just a Taysom Hill, Anthony Richardson quarterback at this point, where he is just built off, his athletic ability, but he also doesn't have good feel in the pocket. He's just been a disaster this season. So you need to right your wrongs. You need to move off him. But I think the Jets, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually open to them potentially drafting a quarterback number 1 overall. But maybe you guys disagree with me. Maybe you'd rather have Ty Simpson over Fernando Mendoza. Let me know who you would pick. Give me a TS for Ty Simpson. Give me an FM for Mendoza. I'm rolling with Mendoza here. I love what he's about. He just seems like first off, a really good dude, really well-spoken guy, and he's also just a straight-up dog at the quarterback position. So I'll be typing my FMs. Now, if you guys could, hit that subscribe button on your way out. We keep you guys posted with everything around your New York Jets. We'll see you guys next time. As always, go Jets.